What's going on, guys? It's your host LT Gray, and welcome back to the 4E podcast, the Autosave. Now, here's my co-host.
It's me, Phoenix.
And let's dive right on in. So, our first topic for today is Doomfist gets ready to fist. In other words, Doomfist is now live on the PTR for Overwatch, and it details a good amount of his abilities. So with Doomfist finally here and his abilities now being shown through in the light, it's going to be a great game changer for the world of Overwatch. Blizzard released an official animated teaser trailer for Doomfist, which everybody loves. Those things are pretty cool, which showcases a fight between the villain and the heroes of Overwatch. I didn't know Doomfist was going to be a villain. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Doomfist is going to be also an offensive hero, and it will definitely be based more around his abilities through using said Doomfist gauntlet rather than conventional shooting with his gun, which I like. He seems like he's a pretty cool character. I saw the developer update about him, and he seems like he's gonna be pretty cool with, like, you know, punching people around and stuff like that. I think they were saying something about able to like knock people into walls like billiard balls and stuff with him.
Yeah, like basically if you hit somebody against the wall, then you do double damage.
Yeah.
And I guess if you hit them against other players, then they count as a wall as well. So it's like one of those situations where you gotta like kind of just slam people around. There's nothing else.
Yeah, that sounds really intense. Unfortunately, it's also been confirmed that it's not voiced by Terry Crews like everybody was hoping it would be. I don't know what they did with that, why they dropped the ball. But that's you know. That's something that everybody was waiting for. Yeah, even
people were saying that he was probably gonna cost too expensive, but I mean,
I don't know, man. He seemed like he was really hype on doing it. Like, I feel like
one, we're talking about Blizzard here, and two, how did Crackdown get him?
Exactly. Like, come on, dude. Like, sure, you guys would have had to shell out money, but come on, Blizzard. It's not like y'all don't got the money, dude. Overwatch is like your #1 game right now. Come on, guys.
Yeah, like, but Blizzard has way more money than
freaking the devs of Crackdown do. Like, come on, dude. They like, get out of here. You can't.
Unfortunately, Crackdown used to be made by Real Time Worlds, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, you mean, like, you gotta be kidding me with that kind of stuff. You can't afford Terry Crews. For all you know, he would have been willing to do it for free. You saw he was like doing voice lines. Just take those, sample those, and put those in the game.
Just take them and put them in. I mean, he basically gave you.
Yeah, he basically gave you a free
lines.
You
didn't even have to think of him.
I'm pretty sure he would have been excited to be in the game more than the money to show off to his son, which, you know, as everybody knows, him and his son built a beast computer. So, like, come on now. So.
Yeah, he just flexes his chest in the microphone for like all of the lines, and they're like, "This is disgusting. I didn't ask for this."
So to detail a couple of Doomfist abilities, you've got his primary fire, which are shotguns. He has 4 shotguns built into the knuckles of his gauntlet, which can be used to how Roadhog's weapon work, but it should be safe when the bullets are when the abilities are on cooldown. So basically, your primary thing is they're telling you, don't use the shotgun shells like a regular gun. You want to go around punching people, and then if your abilities are on cooldown, that's when you're going to want to shoot some people down, which is, you know,
basically punch your way over to them and then shoot and punch them while you're over at them.
And he's got his secondary fire, which is the rocket punch. It's a charged up attack, which means the longer you hold it down, the more damage it does.
It's the Freddy Wong rocket jump.
Oh my god. So if you sit there at the start of a match at spawn, you just sit in spawn charging the fist, and somebody comes up, you rocket them across the map into the enemy team, blow the enemy team up like you're breaking the triangle of balls and pool, and it's over. You win the game instantly like that.
It's over.
He's got 2 more abilities, which are the rising uppercut, where he punches straight up into the air and launches himself and whatever enemy he has targeted with him. So you're going down for Hidden Lotus with Doomfist. That's just how it's gonna happen. You getting Rock Lee.
I'm just waiting for him to get glitched and then like he launches but never comes back down.
Freaking charged rocket punch while the rising uppercut. You're dead. That's it. That's it. And then his seismic slam, which a targeting reticle appears on the ground and allows Doomfist to slam down to stun enemies, similar to what's his name?
Reinhardt.
Yeah, to Reinhardt's super, and it brings them closer into the range of his melee attacks, which I think Doomfist and Reinhardt would probably make a pretty good combo. I mean, you know, they could look out for each other pretty well.
And Orisa, and then you just have a terrible combination of this.
You just roll through
pulling
teams.
and slamming.
And then he's got his ultimate, of course, which is the Meteor Strike, which launches himself high into the air, allowing him to scan the battlefield with his targeting reticle. He slams down with a Meteor Fist, Panzer Dragoon style, and it's all similar to Reinhardt's Earth Shatter. This will damage the enemy and leave them vulnerable to attacks and or combos.
I was gonna say Doomfist, Reinhardt, Orisa, and Zarya. There's no stopping it. It's all the pulls and slams.
It's over. That's that. Doomfist
and
is
then
gonna
throw a
change
Diva
the game.
ult in there at the end.
No, what?
I said, and then throw a Diva ult in there at the end.
Oh my god! Throw a nerfed Mercy ult.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about that.
And finally, Doomfist's passive ability, which is called the Best Defense. Whenever Doomfist lands punches on enemies, he will generate a small shield to keep them alive, and the shield will stack and continue to grow with the more punches you land. It will deteriorate while you're not fighting. So if you're standing around or standing on the payload or something, it's gonna go away. I mean, it makes sense, you know, you're not really doing nothing and whatever, but that's pretty cool. Doomfist actually sounds like a character I might want to try and mess around with. That actually might get me back into Overwatch. Haven't played that.
They give him a Banff belt.
They give him a Banff belt. I'm deleting Overwatch and never downloading it again. But yeah, Doomfist is designed primarily to be a flanker, which makes sense with all his Hard Knock Life strong suits.
Yeah.
But yeah, he seems pretty dope. I wish he was voiced by Terry Crews. That's my boy, but c'est la vie. That's the life of Overwatch. Yeah.
That's basically where we're sitting at here. Moving on to the next topic, we've got Valve, our good old buddies who don't even make games anymore, but they still run their famous esport competitions, and their biggest ones are the Dota 2 competitions. And Valve has stated that they will be actually fixing tournaments this year because they feel as though they need to change the pace, because they feel like there's not enough esports events coming out, EA Sports events coming out, and they want to get a lot more smaller events out there. So Valve had said that for the next year we will be working to take a more organic approach to growing the competitive ecosystem, working more closely with third-party tournaments. And what this means for the competitive scene is that instead of smaller number of major tournaments, there will also be a lot more smaller tournaments with tinier prize pools for gamers to enjoy. So you know, there's always Valve with their big compendium that goes on every year for Dota 2, which the numbers just keep stacking up. You look at it and you're like, all right, well it's like 1 mil, which is like,
yeah, aren't they on like
that's
20 mil or something now?
Yeah,
like,
it jumps up crazy. It's like you look at it and it's like, all right, well it's not that much now. I'll maybe buy it in like a few weeks, and then you spend $10 on your compendium and you're like, hey, let's go fill it up, and then you look back and the compendium's all the way up to like $30 million or something now. Like I don't know if this is going to mean that people are going to you know, frivolously spend into the compendium like they always have now, because there's more tournaments going on. So maybe the major tournaments will come down a little bit. I don't know how this is going to affect the major tournaments.
I don't know if they're gonna like that. I mean, it helps everybody in the long run, but
it sure helps. I mean, the money's still coming in. I'm just saying, like, in terms of major tournaments, this doesn't necessarily draw in more of an audience. It just kind of, you know, separates the distance between each tournament. So I don't know if this is going to, like I said, affect the major tournaments, because most people only, like, the compendium builds up so much because it's so easy to chip into, and it's things that, like, your friends enjoy. You know, you're like, all right, let's do the compendium, let's buy it, you know, fill it up. And you don't really, like, even if you don't care for esports, you're still like, all right, I'll get the stuff from the compendium, and, you know, that's it. That you get some. It's a win-win situation.
And for someone who
for both teams.
doesn't know what the compendium is, for someone like me who hasn't played little to much of Dota 2 at all, how does that break it down? Like, what is the compendium, and how does the
Well, basically the way that the prize pool works for Dota 2 is that it builds up based on, basically, like, they build up the prize pool leading up to the main event that goes on. I forget what it's actually called. But the actual event that goes on, the prize pool is built up based on how many of the compendium are sold. So, like, all the sales that goes into the compendium goes to that esports event. So people buy into it because you can fill up the book and, you know, get rewards back or whatever inside the game. So it has benefits for you, and you know, it benefits the esport players literally immediately, because that's their prize pool. So
it sounds like it's a little bit of fun for everybody, to be honest. So that's how it sounds, at least.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you get to have a fun time, and as long as you don't, you know, get matched up with bad teammates, and then you can't enjoy filling up your compendium, which I don't usually spend, you know, too much time filling up the compendium, because I like to stick to one character, so I don't really like to branch out and, you know, fill up all these different character pages and stuff like that. But I'm interested to see how this will play out for Valve, because they really seem like they're you know, ready to push this forward, and they're really the only people who are making big strides in terms of, you know, big ticket esports events. So
yeah, they're usually the ones that you see on all, like, the major publications that go on like Twitch and stuff like that. And actually now, I don't know if you've actually seen it, but TBS has actually picked up some time for esports, and I think it's TBS, and they actually broadcast it on like network television. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool, and they actually advertise it at good times too. Like, they'll advertise it on the weekend or something, or right around prime time hour at night, when they know people are going to be watching TV, and you're watching whatever, Big Bang Theory or whatever, and that's already kind of in your wheelhouse, you know. So they're like, okay, why not advertise it this way? And then they advertise it to you, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not, like I said, into Dota 2 that much, but on the other hand, it is cool to see that esports is getting the push it finally needed. You know, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But it like I said, it's good. It sounds like it's fun. I'll be keeping an eye on it. I know when it usually comes on TV, I give it a watch. It might not be my entire deal, but I'll watch it for a good little bit, and it's pretty intense. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, esports is always like way more lit than a regular sports show would be. So you watch a sports show, it's pretty boring until the last innings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
Esports, I mean, esports does have a lot of downtime. I'm not, you know, like upselling esports, but, you know, esports is generally like they kind of have to overhype it, because it's the games are not games are and MOBAs
games,
they're not
yeah.
they start off slow and then they get intense towards the
They're
end.
not
So
really entertaining unless like usually when you'll watch, like, I don't know, the first person that comes to mind that played Dota is like Sky or whatever, and like he'll make conversation pieces, and usually when he makes a video and uses Dota, it's not really about the game, it's more about the conversations he's having with friends and enemy players and blah, blah, blah. So
yeah.
it's really, like I said, with all games, it is what you make of it. So it's cool to see the esports making what they can out of it, and
Making the esports.
but yeah, it's a pretty cool deal. Definitely keep an eye on that, you guys. Okay, we got some more Player Unknown, thank you, dude, news, and it's from Player Unknown himself. Over the past few months, he says he's been doing a lot of interviews, and in many of them, he said he'd hope to be out of early access within 6 months after he's launched. He's come to realize that while restricting the window to a specific month could hinder them from delivering the fully featured game or lead to massive disappointment within the community if the launch date that he set is not met. So instead, he decided he's going to push the full launch back a bit from the initial 6 months time frame, which I don't see a problem with. The game is pretty good. It needs a lot of polish, that's for sure, but it is still good. He does want to assure you that the game is going to be releasing before the end of the fourth quarter for 2017. That's pretty good news. It's so, it should still be coming around what, holiday or something like that. That's about what the fourth quarter of the year.
I mean,
is.
it's we're already like basically
Yeah,
and the like the midpoint of quarter 3, I guess you would say.
So it's not that far.
It's still
out.
right around the
Yeah.
corner. It's not like it's next year.
Yeah. He continues to say that they are going to be pushing out the weekly and monthly updates until the full launch, as they've been striving to do. They want to ensure that the game they release is going to be the best version possible. That's why he's giving it a launch window rather than an exact date, and he hopes that it makes sense to everyone, and he wants to thank you dudes for holding out this long. I like this. It's what most devs should be doing, rather than like, oh, here's January 51st of 2020, and then it never comes out, and then everybody's disappointed, and they're like, what the freak happened? And he's like, and it's like, oh, okay. Like, here he is just, hey guys, it'll come out. It's gonna come out this year. It ain't gonna come out tomorrow, but it's gonna come out this year.
It's gonna come out at least.
At least it's coming out. There's more than I can say for like, you know what I'm trying to say. And it's like, all right. I can gel with that. Player Unknown says, see you in game. I've yet to see him, but I don't want to.
If you kill him, you get his jacket.
If you kill him, you get large text saying China #1 on your screen, and you just die. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you very much, dude. China #1, dude. And it's like, what did you say to me?
He goes your gun.
But yeah, Player Unknown, I can honestly not stop saying too much about it. It's pretty addicting. I haven't played it in a little bit, but it's still as addicting as the day we first played it. One thing that I had discussed with a couple coworkers that, since this isn't really like whatever, this is just some extra ad-lib onto the story, that the coworkers and I were like, oh yeah, what would be pretty cool is if they kind of did like a a random sort of game mode where, like, let's just say, for example, it's parachute roulette, where only one person has a working parachute and everybody has to jump out of the plane at some point. And if you jump out of the plane, you got to pull your parachute. If you got a parachute, you survive. If not, everybody else falls to their death, and the counter ticks down dramatically. And if you're the only one left, you're the only one left. I thought that would be pretty cool.
I mean, it'd be pretty cool, but I mean, the problem with that is that I don't know. It just wouldn't work in a sort of gameplay environment. Like you do it once and it'd be funny, and it's like, oh man, they killed me mad hard because I didn't have a parachute, and then you do it the next time and everybody's probably gonna like spam their F key so that they can like blow out and all die immediately, and it'll be a massive death like immediately, and it's just gonna keep happening. Like it's not gonna have the same appeal as it does the first time.
Yeah,
like you'd have to have some kind of other element to it. Like you have to, I don't know, all grab a pack out of the box or something.
Yeah, like in the round that or the timer that ticks down before the round actually starts, you have to actually go and grab what you might get as a parachute. Otherwise, you open it and you blow up, and you can choose not to open up your parachute. I mean, to get a parachute. And it's really whoever is, alive the longest. For all you know, the guy with the parachute could, out of fear, not open his parachute and splatter to his death. And if you're the last one falling from the air, then I guess you still win. You'll be dead, but you could still win. I mean,
I won.
I won. It's like, wait, what the freak? Thank you, dude. I win. But yeah, PlayerUnknown's got he's got some stuff up his sleeve. The full game's coming out soon, and if you're not in the early access, I would recommend it. It's $30. It's a little bit pricey. Maybe if it was like $20, I would say just get it, even if you
value it,
whatever. But $30, I would say still grab it. It's pretty decent. But yeah, PlayerUnknown. Thank you for the news, dude.
Moving on to the next article, we have Assassin's Creed Origins, our unknown game that is just, there's not a lot of information going on about it, and when you see some information about it, it's mostly just like Destiny 2. It's the same stuff that you've already seen, and they're just kind of rewording it. So here we have an article for Assassin's Creed Origins where the director, it's Ashraf Ismail, addresses Assassin's Creed Origins' size to Game Informer, talking about the size of the game in relation to other games in the past and how large the actual environment will be. He said, if I compare it to previous games in the past, I don't actually know the exact numbers for Origins, but I would say that it's at least twice the size of Havana from Black Flag. Having said that, I don't think of the size of the city as what matters. It's really the content, the experience that you have inside of it. It's how alive it is. So we filled these locations with quests, with making each city feel unique to itself. Why? Wait, what? Why was it important to Egypt? I don't understand. Moving on. There's an error here. Maybe it's an error, maybe it's a mistranslation. I don't know. However, he simply says, so we filled these locations with quests, with making each city feel unique to itself. Why was it important to Egypt? But there's no question mark here, so I don't think that he's asking a question. I think he's telling Game Informer that, it's important to Egypt, but why? And he's not questioning it, he's stating it, but he's also saying it as a question.
Why? Why was it important to Egypt?
They don't really know how to respond to that, but I think they just kind of posted this quote as a last remembrance of Game Informer before their entire staff got murdered.
They were like, wait, did he just ask us a question? And he's just like, why? And they're like, is that a question or a statement? And he's just like, Egypt. And they're like, what? dude, get out of here. And he stabs them with the hidden blade. And they're like, oh my god, dude, this is the 5th time today.
So yeah, I mean, we have some new information. It's not like, you know, great information. It's okay. There is no other quote. I thought I remembered seeing another quote, but
yeah,
basically he was
why it was important to Egypt.
Why was it important to Egypt? That's like that's like nightmare fuel right there. But yeah, he's talking about, you know, how big the game will be, and he's saying that they don't have a number yet, but it's definitely bigger than Black Flag. So I mean, Black Flag was pretty big, but it was also because you were.
It was a lot of water. Let's be honest.
It was a lot of water. So I mean, like, I don't know if that's
a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know if that means he's just gonna fill up a lot of the area with just all desert. We're gonna have to walk across the entire Rubicali Desert like Uncharted all over again.
If that's what they're trying to hit at.
I mean, I'm already a little hesitant about this game because of its revamped combat system. It looks very floaty. The new combat system does not have any impact to it as the previous games did. The bow and arrows are magical. You can shoot it and it just floats wherever you want it to. And on top of that, the game just it changed too much. It changed, like, it's not even Assassin's Creed anymore. You walk over to loot somebody, you don't bend down and smack their body up for like 3 hours and while you hear the and then you loot them. Now you just walk past them and you're looted. That's like, I don't get it. It's weird. It's like they're trying to like compete with like faster paced games, and there's no need for that. So like, I don't know. They're going in the wrong direction in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if things change. When we get closer to launch, I'm sure we'll see some more fleshed out gameplay. I'm hoping that, you know, the combat is still in an early stage, maybe. I don't know. This is wishful thinking, but some people seem to really like it. I really hate it.
Yeah, it's really ugly. If you guys did not see one of their most recent trailers, you'll be seeing it. It'll be coming up on the screen here. But my favorite part. But if you guys haven't seen it, you'll see it on the screen here. And my favorite part has got to be the ragdoll that goes on. I have no idea what that's about.
I don't know what's going on,
but,
man. There was ragdoll in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, no, there was, but it's like
there was animations to go with like it. You were doing my favorite, where you'd bare hand and pick somebody up and slam them into the earth, and they'd be like, "Oh, my neck," and slam away, and you know, they'd float away. It'd be funny sometimes when their bodies would glitch out, but like, this is like, I'm gonna backhand you with my sword, and you just go flying away. Like, I don't know what's happening. I'm not sure what's happening, and this is supposed to be like the prequel to all the Assassin's Creeds. So like, they
took it back to a prequel, alright.
But how do you prequel and then have things like this? Is like Metal Gear all over again.
Yeah,
like you're prequeling and you're having more technology than the future game.
That's the stuff I don't get about Metal Gear. That's a whole nother thing. But I just want to say, like, that's just crazy talk. Some of the things they expect you to believe. Come on now. Like freaking Peace Walker. You telling me you got all them basically Walker Gears, Metal Gears, and
literally,
but you couldn't have that like in the preceding Metal Gears. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird. They've got like
there's no way to explain it. Like, it's just weird. Like
Metal Gear Solid 1. They have regular choppers and stuff. The most high-tech piece of thing they have there is the freaking Gray Fox Cyborg Ninja and Metal Gear itself. Yeah. But Peace Walker had even more cybernetic stuff. Like, come on. Still my favorite game series, but there's
I think they ran into like issues where they wanted to chronologically go back, but yeah, at the same time they wanted to keep like
new ideas.
They were like, oh my god, man, we just like revamped the Fox engine and we got like all this new HD setup we got here. There's no way we can't be throwing in some new MG Rex. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That Metal Gear is like way better than any of the other Metal Gears they've had to date.
I just don't get it.
Like, come on. It took y'all from all the way to Metal Gear Solid 4 to get the geckos, when in Metal Gear Solid 5,
which I absolutely hate,
which is a prequel, has
geckos that don't sound like geckos. Instead, they sound like cows.
Freaking. And then they shake their legs and stand all the way up.
And poop on you or whatever they do. I hate that game. Anyway, let's move on. Before we turn this into the Metal Gear podcast, which I'm all for.
I still want to go play Metal Gear Solid 4, but that's enough of that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Alright, so moving on to the next topic here. It's going to be Dec Breath is Max Brass. Yeah, you heard me right. No, that's not true. Nintendo is, as you guys might or may not know, it's releasing their new character, their first DLC character. Kind of second of sorts. I mean, Twintel was in the main game, I believe, so... but anyway, their official like new DLC character is gonna be Max Brass, and Nintendo decided to drop a gameplay trailer for him, showing off Max Brass himself. To everyone that's been playing the game, they know Max has been around. You know, he's Maximilian Dude. Thank you, dude. He's a boss-like character. He's been that way since the game's launch, but now will be a free. That's right, free playable character this upcoming July. So that's pretty cool.
Can't say that.
So Max Brass is a heavy hitter who, when his arms get charged up, can take punches from anybody in the game without flinching. And as an added last-ditch bonus, when the fight's going wrong and his health drops beneath 20%, his arms become permanently charged up, that sounds pretty dangerous.
That sounds pretty OP, I think.
Yeah. Especially if his punches just don't get flinched, and all you gotta do is like, all right, well, drop my health, fam.
And he doesn't flinch, but you just beat him in.
You just beat him in, and he turns into the Assassin's Creed characters where they get beat in and don't respond.
Oh my god!
And it's like, yo, Max, I'm killing you though, and he's like, it's like, yo, can you just like die though? And he's like,
belt.
You know, because he's got like those freaking belt arms. Anywho, yeah, Max Brass. What do you think of Max Brass? Even though we haven't picked up arms because it somehow slipped right under our noses.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with the arms release. it just instant happened. I feel like they like pressed a button overnight and the game just kind of came
yeah,
up.
Like I was all ready for it. We played.
I don't remember the release date being at any point
test
in time.
Punches, and he's just like, I'm here.
I'm
now?
Here. I don't know. I think Max is, you know, he's interesting. We'll have to unfortunately pick up the game to see how he plays, but there's a few gameplays floating around of him, so
yeah,
you know, we'll see how he fares in the real fight. You know, everybody plays differently in closed environments, so
yeah,
once you take them online, we'll see how well Max actually plays. He may be unstoppable, but that doesn't mean that, you know, he's not going to get beat in like I just said.
He has the tools. That's definitely sure to be unstoppable.
It's kind of like Mummy. Like, Mummy players think they're like indestructible because like he's not flinching, but that just means I'm beating you in. Like there's nothing else to it.
I'll just Max Brass that ass. Like that's it. Like that's all you're gonna get. You're just like, oh wait. Yo, stop. You're actually doing work on me. Please, you've got to stop. And it's like, yeah, I'm getting your health down.
Yeah, I'm getting your health down. Like, and then he dies
oh, no,
immediately.
You got my health to 20%. Time for me to get fully charged up. And you're like, that's still not stopping me. Beating
still
him
not
in.
stopping me. And then he gets grabbed to death.
Oh, my God. That's the
The
one
only
thing
way-
I hate about ARMS, dude, is the massive grab spam, dude. Like, y'all gotta fix that, man.
They're never fixing that.
Please, Nintendo, I know you're gonna try and like ban our freaking
video,
but like, please, dog, like, fix that. If the one thing y'all listening for is please fix the grab spam, dude. Like, y'all gotta like put a cooldown or something on that.
And then we finally buy ARMS and we find out that they increased the rate of grabs.
No, I'll return the game. I'll be like, no,
You can't.
and they're like, why? And then I grab spam dude on the counter of GameStop, and he's like, oh my god, okay.
He's like, I hate ARMS.
He's like, yo, what the freak, man? I hate ARMS. And it's just like,
Give him a double refund, man.
Good.
And they're like, that doesn't even make any sense.
And
It's
then
like, give him a free game.
he's like, please give him anything. He's gonna grab spam me. And they're like, what the freak is that? And you stretch Armstrong your belt arms over to him. And he's like, what the freak? And then he gets the Magnolia freaking.
No, I'm
And he's like, why? What did I do? He's like, I told you, I warned you about the arms, bro. I warned you.
There's no stopping it.
There's no stopping it. Everybody will get Mighty Max Brass, Maximilian dude.
Thank you,
Brass. Thank you, dudes. Now I'm gonna beat your head in. It's like, wait, what? It's like, Max, please.
I just don't know.
But yeah, I'm gonna be trying to pick up ARMS soon. I want to get back on my Switch, and Max definitely does look interesting. Both him and the Million dude, so Diamond dude.
Yeah, never that. Anyway, moving on to the next article, we have a hint at, and I'm gonna put like huge quotations around this. A hint at Spyro being back in HD, and you know, Spyro's been my boy until they ruined him with Skylander Spyro with his crunch face. I stopped loving Spyro since then, but as long as they return to original form, or at least a new game, but that's not gonna happen because, you know, they had their opportunity with Crash and they still didn't do it. They just made a remake, which, you know, it's whatever, but anyway, we have a hint from a YouTuber who has posted a video in which they seem to have assumed to have discovered something. It could just be a glitch, or it could just be, you know, maybe something in plans for the future. The user had attempted to put the original code in that you could put in on the main menu for Crash. I don't remember which game.
I believe the code was the Konami code, was it not?
No, it's not.
It was like up something or other.
Crash Warped. I never owned Crash Warped, so anyway, you put the, I hate that absolutely badly. You put in the code on the main menu for Crash Warped, and I've seen it before in the past. People did it back in the original version, and you were able to unlock a special version of the Spyro demo for Spyro's Dragon. Now, there was another demo back in the past that you were able to access that demo as well. I don't remember which game. Yeah, I don't remember which game had that. However, I do remember accessing the Spyro demo through other means before in the past. So yeah, they like to hide their little things all around everywhere. Hopefully this comes to fruition. However, currently at the moment in time, the only thing that happens is the cursor disappears, and people are assuming because the cursor only disappears when you're over Crash Warped and not over the two other games. They're assuming that this is, you know, kind of like, oh well, if it happened in the original game and it's kind of but not really happening here, then maybe something will happen eventually in the future. Nobody knows yet, and I'm not sure that, you know, we'll find a lot of information from that, and I'm definitely sure that Activision will not be confirming this. This is it's not a thing that they'll do.
Just
if any news is going to come out, well, it's going to come out when the game's going to drop. That's basically all that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to tight-lip this one like they did with the the Crash HD Trilogy remaster. They're probably gonna wait till like another PSX or something and like show HD Spyro, like HD creepy Crash. So
yeah, I still don't like HD creepy Crash.
I wouldn't be surprised though if they use the Skylanders form of Spyro for an
They
HD
can.
remake.
That's not even Spyro.
It still is.
No, it's not. That's a different universe, Spyro.
They'll still reuse the asset and be like.
Well, if they do it, then I will physically go down to their studio, wipe all of their hard drives, stand in the front of their doorway, and I will not allow them to leave their offices. I won't allow them to create a new game either. They're just gonna be locked in their office forever.
It's like, yo, please, he's stopping us, man. We gotta do something. And it's like, no, Spyro. And it's like, what? And it's like, Spyro. It's like, what are you saying? Spyro. And it's like, oh my god, he's on the loudspeaker. And
you just keep access to everything.
But yeah, I never really played the Spyro games too much. If they came with an HD remaster, I'd be willing to try them out. It'd save me the time of going back. I mean, you can always emulate things. Do so with games you own, kids. But yeah, I'd be more than willing to try it. I earned a couple trophies in there.
Spyro.
Oh my god, freaking Spyro. Spyro cynical.
No.
But yeah, take this one with a grain of salt. We don't really know how much of this is true. There is a video, but for all we know, it could be faked. It is something that
I don't think it's faked. I mean, like, there's nothing to care about to fake this.
Yeah.
It's not like anything actually happened. So,
but it is something to just keep in the back of your minds. And remember that you heard it here first. And moving on to one next story, it's a story about Splatoon 2 and how Nintendo released a Direct, shortly before its release. The Direct was on July 6th, and it was at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and it showcased some of the new features for the upcoming game. Things like new maps, new weapons like the Splatbrella, which is an umbrella you open up and shoot some gunk at people, which is, pretty suggestive, but it's also pretty cool. Splatoon 2 has 2 new modes for the upcoming sequel, with the new single-player campaign showcase as well, and the Salmon mode, which is a sort of horde-style gameplay. It looks like it's gonna make the game a lot more fun than it actually was, and in addition to all that, it also has local multiplayer this time around, which allows for 8 Nintendo Switches to sync up and do battle locally, which, as you all know, the Splatoon 1 only was online multiplayer. It wasn't local co-op, local multiplayer, which is pretty cool, because that means they're gonna be pushing local things with the Switch, but also in the Direct, they also, to cut myself off, they did showcase a little taste of how the Nintendo voice app was gonna work, and it was pretty interesting. It's still kind of throwing people through a loop, but I'm more than willing to try it. It was called Nintendo Switch Online app or something or other. It was something super generic, but they showed you can join private player rooms to talk with your friends, and then once the team split up, it'll automatically split you up into the team with people that you're on, and you can talk to them through the app, which is actually pretty cool. I mean, I don't know
what Curse used to do, but I won't talk about that.
Goodbye, Curse.
Rest in peace, sweet prince.
But I would have liked it if they put that kind of app on the Switch and allowed you to use it that way. Just put the app, load it up in the background, and then go about your business on Splatoon. That would have been pretty cool. But you know, beggars can't be choosers. We don't really know how the app is working fully because we don't obviously have it out yet. But yeah, Splatoon 2 is going to be releasing July 21st for the Switch. And this Direct showcased a good amount of things. It's about a 30-minute Nintendo Direct, and I suggest you watch it if you're highly interested in some Splatoon 2 shenanigans. Like, it looked pretty cool. You know, what are your thoughts? Did you see anything that, you know, might have interested you?
Of course, you can't forget about the 2 new hosts, Pearl and Marina.
Oh yeah, you can't.
That is the hottest news coming out of Splatoon 2 as is. If you even type in Splatoon 2 probably right now on the internet, that's exactly what you're gonna get, because everybody's going crazy over the 2 new hosts. That's my big chip in for the news.
Anyway, but yeah, you can't discount those 2 new hosts, man. And their song is pretty catchy. You know, I did give it a watch. That little trailer they got there, was it Hooked Up or something like that? Or
Off the Hook.
Off the Hook. There you go. Yeah, it's the name didn't stick.
It's definitely off the hook.
But yeah, it's definitely off the hook and raising the roof, so to speak.
Let's raise the roof, kids. Are you a kid or are you an off the hook squid?
Oh my god.
Moving on to the next title, we have Kirby blowing right back at you with his brand new game, Kirby's Blowout Blast, for the Nintendo 3DS. Now, a lot of people are still upset that the 3DS is still getting games because the Switch is right here. But we do have a new game coming out for the Switch. I mean, oh, excuse me. Whoa. We do have a new game coming out for the 3DS, and it is Kirby's Blowout Blast, and it's a sort of a 3D platformer, which is different from usual Kirby games, which are just kind of 2D or 2.5D.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a change in pace. However, it's still Kirby. It's not, you can't change Kirby.
Yeah,
and
you can't
it's
really change too much.
You know, Nintendo's kind of pushing that you can now get to your chance to battle iconic bosses like King Dedede and 3D, which doesn't, I mean, you're always fighting King Dedede. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on here. There's not a lot of new news. It's just that we finally get some gameplay footage, and the game will be arriving July 6th, which means it will already be out by the time that this video goes out. So if you are a Kirby bubble blower, make sure that you check out the game and pick it up and blow some bubbles and suck them back in, because
Kirby
you don't, when you're Kirby, you don't blow stuff, you only suck.
Oh, he soaks alright. He gives people the
Oh my god. Unfortunately, you guys didn't get to hear that last week because the video did not arrive on time.
You know, I wish they would put it on the Switch, because it would be cool to have more games for the Switch. It would be nice to have a Kirby game for the Switch. I mean, the last one they had, Planet Robobot, was on the DS again.
Yep.
Like you said, some people are kind of still upset that the 3DS is still getting mad love.
Mad love.
I like that they're keeping the 3DS alive, but you know what, guys? Like, come on, you gotta keep the Switch alive too. You gotta.
It's gonna turn into the PS3.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah, you gotta put stuff on there. Especially with you guys trying to release.
I think my main issue with it is that the Switch is not like how the Wii and the Wii U is. It's also taking the place of the handheld market.
Yeah.
Nintendo's kind of ignoring the Switch because they're looking at it as a home console, but it's
both.
It's both. So I think first and foremost, the Switch should be taking precedence as your new
DS,
mobile console.
So to speak, yeah.
So yeah, so anything that comes out for the DS, there's no reason that it shouldn't. I mean, the Switch is touchscreen, so what's the difference? So
people seem to forget the Switch is touchscreen. All you gotta do is split the game down the middle and put both screens on the one screen, and you've got the DS
I don't know
game.
about all that. That's not necessary, but in terms of getting more Switch games out there, I think that definitely all the handheld games, they need to be on the Switch, because there's no point in not putting them on the Switch. There's
that, or there needs to be the virtual console release.
If you go around and ask some people, you know, you give them a Switch, you give them a 3DS, you give them both the same games, granted that both games exist on the same systems, and you ask them, you know, which one would you like to take home with you? I'm almost certain that most people will take home the Switch. They're not going to say, man, I love that 3DS, dog, and they just run off with it. That's not gonna happen. I mean, somebody might love that 3DS, dog, and run off with it. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that most people would like to see more Switch content, and most people would also like to enjoy, you know, going around with the Switch with what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be mobile handheld, but and a console form factor.
It's like
so
they're
I
scared to love the Switch. Just love it, guys.
They're very
just
scared to love the Switch. That's definitely not unheard of. So I don't know. Hopefully Nintendo gets a little slap on the cheek. And they'll know which direction. They'll know which direction that slap came from, and they'll go back over there and say, "Hey, sorry, man. I don't do it again, please."
All right, and moving on to Destiny, and they actually gonna be caring about us this time around? I mean, I don't know. That seemed kind of interesting, but it is about Activision wanting to improve Destiny 2's DLC. That's a pretty big claim from them. Activision Publishing CEO Eric Hirschberg wasn't exactly happy with the first Destiny. According to him, the DLC was disappointing for players, and in a recent interview with Games Industry, he said that Activision is going to attack DLC creation differently this time around. When
you install the DLC to your hard drive, they attack your hard drive.
Oh
because
my
you
god!
Installed the DLC. He's like, "Hey, we said that we were gonna attack it differently this time. We're attacking your hard drive directly."
Freaking attacking my hard drive directly. If they went through that much trouble, I think I'd have to let them do it.
I mean, you don't really have a choice at that point.
So in a quote, he said that he's not been happy with the cadence of new content that Destiny was receiving, and that they got a lot of it right with Destiny 1, you know, with base game, which I'll admit, the base game, sure, there was a little bit hit or miss, but for the most part, in comparison to the DLC, it was better. The DLC did expand a little bit, but you know, if you've played Destiny, you know what I'm getting at. But
shut the fuck up and read the fucking envelope, nigga.
They got a lot of it right with Destiny 1, but one of the things that we didn't do was keep up with the high demand for new content, which they sure didn't. Eric feels that as great as DLC packs were, the Dark Below, House of Wolves, and Taken King, and the Rise of Iron, clearly there was an appetite for more from the Destiny community, and there definitely was. The DLC was kind of sparse, and like really after about a couple months or so of you playing the same couple of things, it gets kind of dry. Like, I mean, I don't want them to oversaturate us with DLC, but I don't want it to be as barren as these ones were. Like, these are cool the first time you see them, and then when you got to do something else, it's like it got old fast.
Well, all they need to do is just treat Destiny like a real MMO and release expansions and not DLC.
Exactly.
Two big differences here.
That would definitely
expansions are way bigger and way more full of content, a lot more things for you to do. So when you release new DLCs, players will be playing up until the next DLC.
Yeah.
They won't be playing because they won't be playing. I don't know how I can word this, but they won't be playing the same content just for their ability to be able to, you know, tide their way over until the next DLC.
It's kind of like how you were saying.
With expansions, you're playing, you know, there's so much content there. Generally speaking, you're playing through a whole lot of content, and there's so much content that you have to actually keep playing and playing and playing, and before you like 100% get everything from that DLC or that expansion, I meant to say, you will then already be met with the next expansion. So that's how they need to be focusing on moving Destiny's well, they don't have expansions, they have DLCs right now, so that's what they need to be doing, is moving away from DLC, which is a very bad term I've felt has been, you know, changing over the years. DLC was originally just a way of, you know, expressing that you can get expansions through downloads, because expansions you used to have to buy in a disc form, in the form of a new game, and it would be you know, it would be an expansion for the game, but you'd have to put in a disc. You'd be like, oh man, I want to play this new map or whatever, and then it'd be like, please install the you know, for Battlefield, what, I forget Battlefield, I had Battlefield 2, I believe. They had like the night vision maps and stuff like that, and you had to put in the disc and install the night vision expansion. That was the one that came with a bunch of different maps and the night vision goggles and stuff like that. You don't have that anymore, you just have DLC, so you just download it, and that's it. You know, it takes a little bit of the charm out of it, but you know, it's whatever, it is what it is. But I feel like because of the change in market, we've kind of strayed away from what DLC meant. DLC didn't mean that it was just, you know, like, hey, here's a download for one skin. You know, like it was.
Yeah. It was. Because nowadays DLC is anything.
DLC can be one skin or one character. Injustice. You spend money to get like nothing. Like back in the day, you'd spend money, you get the expansion, you get the physical disc, you put it in, you install it, there you go, new expansion. You can either play the content or you can't. If you don't have the expansion, you don't. Now, I mean, like the whole point of DLC was just the simple fact that it was just expansions, and you didn't have to buy the disc anymore. You could just go and download them. But now it's just like, hey, we found out that it's so convenient to transfer this content. How about we transfer not big content? I don't know where this change came from, but it's not good at all. I mean, and I'm not here to say like, you know, we need expansions on every game. Well, I'd be more than happy with that. It's a new era, and I'm willing to, you know, accept changes as they come. However, the difference is that we need to sort of redirect our focus. Industry, it's kind of getting a little bit of, it's losing its focus.
Yeah,
I believe
it's really becoming stagnated.
Yeah, and people are just like, people just accept that, you know. They're like, it's cool, I can't get that content if I don't. It's like the terms of service, you know. You start a game up and people are like, well, I just spent $60 on this game and it says that I have to agree to the terms, and it's like, you don't have to. But they're like, well, if I don't, then I can't play the game. And it's like, well, that's the point, you know. You don't agree with the terms, then you don't play the game. That's the point. If you don't agree to it, you shouldn't want to play the game. But they're like, yeah, the game says it's gonna, you know, steal $800 out of my wallet if I ever die in game. But I really want to play, and it's like, yeah, well, that's your loss. But people just jump in. People don't read anything anymore, so I don't know that people would even notice a little line like that hidden inside of the term of service. And unfortunately, you'd be legally bound to keep up with that. So that's your fault. Stop blindly agreeing to things. That's my monologue for the day.
I feel like it should be where like Destiny Year 2 and Year 3 are an even bigger event, where those are the major expansions. And it's like Destiny Year 2. Now here's a whole new game changer. We've had a whole year to develop something. Here you go, guys. You know, appreciate it. But yeah, you know, they're saying that Destiny 2's while it is a sequel, it's going to be a hard reset, and that the choice was not one of a casual decision. It was something that was really debated, because if you are in a persistent universe, then obviously people's investment continues to have value in perpetuity. However, it can be intimidating for new players to join. I could see that, but come on, this is Destiny 2 we're talking about. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, your most of your player base is going to be coming back from Destiny 1. So, kind of satiate those fans first before you try to be like, oh, it's just a brand new game. Yeah, sure, it can stand alone on itself, but yeah, just get this one right, guys. You know what I mean? Like, make the DLC, make the DLC like have punches to it. So,
and then they listen to you, and there's a punch DLC. There's nothing else. And I don't mean like you actually punch people. I mean like it's just fruit punch.
It's just Doomfist drinking fruit punch on your console.
Fruit punch. You get to instead of waiting for your shields to recharge, you just. It's like, hey man, had you just charged up in the middle of Crota, and Crota's like already like stabbing through them, and they're just like, no thanks, Crota. I've got the punch DLC, and he's like, what? I want some of that. And he sucks the fruit punch down, and you can never win the fight because he just keeps on drinking it. He's like, oh, I'm dead. And as he's dying, he's like holding his head back with the punch in his hand. He's like, oh, I'm dead. Just kidding.
Disgusting.
Yeah, but hopefully they keep the content interesting. It's from what I've seen was going to be in the open beta content. I think they're being stupid with the wording of open beta, and like here's the thing, like they're having a closed beta technically, but they're like, oh man, but if you pre-order you get early access to the open beta. That's a closed beta. That's not an open beta. So I don't know, that was my little side note on that. But from what I've seen from the trailer for the open beta and stuff like that, it seems like the DLC is still much, or at least not the DLC, but the content that we're going to see in the open beta is more or less the same stuff that we've seen in the past. So I don't know. I don't know what that means. I was hoping that they'd try and throw in something that we haven't seen before, but it was just like, you get one mission, which is the first mission that we've already seen. You get to do the one strike, and then Crucible. And I was just like, but it's the same thing. I mean, like, I'm not asking for a whole bunch of new content, but whatever. Anyway, I'm not gonna harp on Destiny for like 3 hours, but yeah, hopefully we're in for a pleasant surprise by the time the game launches, and hopefully the open beta is not indicative of the final launch either, because that's kind of what happened with Destiny 1. We seen the betas, we played the betas, I was in the alpha, and I was like, people were playing the alpha with me, and they were like, oh man, this is gonna be great when the game comes out. We're all stuck on Earth, but it's cool. Once the game comes out, we're gonna see like mad planets, right? And then the game came out, and there was not mad planets. There's a good amount of planets now, this late in the game, but vanilla Destiny, no. We did not have mad planets at all.
Thank you.
And the planets that we did have were not fleshed out. So I don't know. We can only pray for the best here.
Yep.
anyway, moving on to the final article of the day, we have the longest 5 minutes ever, which basically was our Destiny monologue. We have longest 5 minutes ever, which is a game that came out on PC and PlayStation Vita. I'm not sure of their original release date because I do not even remember the game releasing. I think I remember like hearing about the game, but I don't remember ever seeing it like release or actually seeing anything of the game. But anyway, the game is now announced to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. So
finally, somebody putting games out for that thing.
Yeah, I mean there's not a whole lot that we can ask for here other than more games, and NIS America has answered our prayers and is giving us the longest 5 minutes ever. So anyway, there is no release date at the moment. Unfortunately, there is a disappointment because the original release date was, as I thought I heard something about the original release date being in 2017 at some point in time, coming out very soon. However, unfortunately, the latest piece of news coming out is that the game will be delayed until 2018 in order for you to get your hands on it. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer before you can get your hands on the game. However, the official description of the game is as follows: our hero faces the origin of all evil, the Overlord himself, but suddenly loses all memories of his adventure, his finishing moves, the name, his hometown, and even the reason he's trying to defeat the Overlord in the first place, all gone. Our hero tries to regain his priceless memories before it's too late, but the Overlord stands before him, his power unyielding. What can happen in the longest 5 minutes? I don't know. You must play the game to find out. So that was my longest 5 minutes. My longest yeah boy. 5 minutes.
Yeah, it sounds pretty interesting. Now that I think about it, it seems like it has ties to, and I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, it has ties to the
Half Minute Hero.
Yeah, Half Minute Hero type games. Yeah. Speaking of like the Overlord and things like that. So yeah, I've played the demos of at least all of those games, and I gotta say, I won't beat that meme into the ground. You won't get that out of me. But yeah, you know, they're pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited for the longest 5 minutes. I like that type of game. They're fun, short, sweet, and to the point. And between you and me, it's really not gonna be 5 minutes. You know, it's like, I'm pretty sure there'll be times where you'll get quote unquote more time. You know what I mean? But it's gonna total out to be 5 minutes of like in-game time or something like that.
It's 5 minutes. I mean, I guess you should know because the game's been out already for many years. But
true.
I don't know what's happening with that.
Yeah, those of us that haven't played it don't know.
Those of us who are still stuck in the longest 5 minutes ever, we haven't reached the point in which the release date has actually happened yet. So unfortunately, you have to wait until our 5 minutes are up for us to, you know, be able to catch up with you guys, because you guys are a little bit ahead of time on us. So if you played the game, let us know what your thoughts are, and I'm not sure what else to say on it because I don't have a lot of information on it.
Yeah, it's been out for a minute. You know, give us a heads up, guys. We want to know.
No,
leave a comment.
I think what you meant to say is it's been out for 5 minutes.
I think that's where the podcast needs to come to a close. Alright, so it's been the longest 5 minutes ever of this podcast. I want to thank you guys for coming out and giving us a watch or a listen, you know, playing us in the background while you're doing whatever, playing the Switch, cooking dinner, and unmentionables.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
But either way, thank you. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Oh my god, then I didn't even record this whole time, dude.
No, you didn't.
Are you kidding me?
Yo, you just scratched my Switch, dude.
No, I'm kidding. We're all good here, so hopefully you guys got a good little few chuckles out of this episode. We tried to keep it as you know, as fresh as possible. We don't stay uptight over here. We don't you know, walk around
like a little bit of loose like my dick.
I don't know about all that, but we like to keep it nice and, you know, leveled over here. We're all on the same plane here. We all like the same things here, I guess. I guess, maybe. I don't know. I don't know that statement works there. So
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Just ignore that. But we're all friends here. Maybe. I don't know. Are we? Maybe you should hit that sub button and then we'll know for sure. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. No, let's not say that.
Just keep that shit in there. Just hit that sub button. Hit that like button. Smash that motherfucking like button.
Alright guys, so we will talk to you in the next video next week. We will be coming back with more news, hopefully.
Our third member returns, our third unit.
Yeah, man, I mean, he might die on the flight back, but that's okay. I mean, we already prepared for that. We put his last rites out already. He doesn't even know. It's already out there. He's already in the obituary. We already you know, declared him dead, so it is what it is. And he's also experiencing the longest 5 minutes ever, because I believe that's what you experience when you die, I guess. I don't what. Alright, let's close this out. I'm done. I'm out, guys. Alright, we will talk to you next week. See ya.
Peace out, everybody.